We'll hit the 3, the 2, the 1. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another week, another episode of the Say Somethin Show. Got my boy Money Mitch in the building as always to my right, and sitting central in front of y'all right now, you got Benny Blanc holding it down. Before anything, we got to jump in our check-ins, but we have a wonderful agenda today. I'm going to let Mitch go ahead and tell y'all how he's feeling, and then we will jump into today's content.
What's going on, y'all, man? Feeling great. Hope everybody out there is feeling good, too. It's been pretty hot around here, so been trying to stay cool. But other than that, just staying on the grind, everyday grind, you know what I mean? What's going on with you?
Chilling. I'm happy about our shorts, man. Congrats. Your short is over.
Go.
I think your short was at 400 views when we checked last.
We
6 likes, baby. You know what I mean? I got mine that came out yesterday. We cracked 100 already.
Let's go.
We got 5 likes or something on that one. I think it's 8 on yours and 6 on mine, something like that. But all that matters is that we're going up.
Let's go.
So we're definitely going to have another short for y'all tonight after this episode. But also just be on the lookout for the shorts in general. We got a lot of multimedia coming your way. But I just want to congratulate you on that. I'm feeling happy because of that and just seeing the traction going. So remember, if you're liking the stuff, we love you no matter what. But just make sure you get on over to that subscribe button and join us for the long run. All right? We'd love to have y'all. So today we got some great content. Like I said, I'm just in a good mood because we're in a good space and because we're continuing to move forward. So I got to get to this stuff. I want to make sure we got a full agenda so we can cover it all. So let's jump right into the Olympics. I hope you guys are getting ready for it.
Let's go.
There's obviously a lot of sports that we'll end up touching on as these events kind of unfold, as the United States ends up getting and progressing into all these competitions. But for now, for the sake of you guys, for the sake of the things we most commonly talk about, we're going to just jump into USA basketball, right? And for those who don't know, we are kind of the Goliath of this event, if you will.
Yep, it's kind of our sport, man.
People will debate, now are we losing a little grip on it? But there's no doubt that since they've allowed professionals to play, we have, we've taken 7 of 8 of these, with one being, we don't have to talk an absolute, debauchery of
it had some not so all-stars on that team.
Yeah, that was a botched event. Yeah, that was a botched event.
We just thought we could throw anybody out there that year.
They thought the U.S. jersey would win it, and that's with the way the world is improving, it's not going to get it done anymore. But I'm glad that happened because in turn that kind of woke up the stars of the United States and made them realize, okay, this isn't just a foregone conclusion that you're going to get gold. So I'm very happy at least to see where it is now, where we seem to be getting all the guys we'd want to see out there. And definitely those guys who it's probably their last chance, right? We're going to get one last run. So I want to lace my guy with a little question real quick. And this is something that I've been thinking about and I want you guys to think about. So in the comments, regardless of what Mitch tells you, I want you to have your own opinion and put whatever you feel down there, even though he's got the expert take. I'm not going to say he doesn't, but, use your own thoughts. We love to see the different combinations because at the end of the day, there's a lot of talented players on this team. So put your starting 5, whatever you think would be ideal for the U.S. team in the comments. And Mitch, let us know what would be yours.
So for me, I'm going to have Steph Curry at the 1.
Bada bing.
I'm going to have LeBron out there. I'm going to have Jason Tatum. I'm going to have KD. And I have Joel Embiid or Anthony Davis. I'm more leaning towards Anthony Davis because of the chemistry he has with LeBron James, and having both of them in there seems like a great duo that could work well for the USA.
Absolutely.
So that would be kind of my ideal starting 5. Have Anthony Edwards, Drew Holiday, Joel Embiid come in, be the second squad coming through with maybe Tyrese Halliburton and the newly inserted Derek White coming in there. A whole bunch of Celtics on this USA team, man. Surprised Jaylen Brown's not on there.
Real talk.
He was real salty about that one.
He's got to be hurt.
I mean, Finals MVP, what else can you do?
No, but what else can Derek White? That's crazy.
They're just like, instead of getting another superstar, we're just going to get a dude who can play on the team.
And y'all play the same position, but we won't say that. We won't say we literally chose a guy in your position.
We'll also be saying au revoir to Kawhi Leonard. He's going to be out of there. Injury-prone Leonard.
Saw it coming, right? I mean, we all saw it coming. Like,
why'd you even show up? Where was he? He was like in Chile or something on vacation.
Doing some New Balance shoots.
Yeah, man. So
get your balance back, bud.
I think we got a really good chance. Like you said, 1 through 12, there's no other country that could really match up with us. Maybe 1 or 2 or 3 guys on their teams, on these other teams. But all the way through, I think we got to dominate this one.
Definitely. Let's see. My starting lineup, I would say I'd like to see Steph. I would like Anthony Ed to be inserted at the 2 there.
Okay.
I would like to see KD and LeBron. Mm-hmm. So I'd love to see that 3 and 4 combo. And I'd like to say Joel, but after watching Joel last night versus Canada, I wonder if AD is a better fit for the team that I just said.
Yeah.
Just because people forget how slow Joel Embiid is. Like, the Sixers just play a slow style, so we're very used to the half-court offense. But when you see him out there running with, like, the likes of these other guys who are around his height, like KD when they did the photo, let's be real, KD, this has got to stop, bro. This has got to stop, bro. And I can't wait to one day potentially have you on the show to, really lace this out. But, like, you being 6'9", that's such a devastation to all of us actually trying to height up, bro. Because, bro, if you're 6'9", then what are we all?
Yeah. No, that's
I'm in the 5s then, bro. So that's what you're gonna do to me, bro. By that statement, I'm 5'11" now. Man. All right. Anyway, because we saw that photo, the only person taller than you is Joel Embiid, and really the Afro's helping. And Joel Embiid at like 7'2" in NBA stats. So anyway, that would be my starting lineup.
We're just throwing Bam out of there. We know he's
I love Bam.
Mr. Reserve.
No, I love Bam. And here's the thing: is I would debate if we're not going to go with the style that I just said. I would debate going 2 bigs, and I don't know if that means Joel and you start with AD, or if it's Bam and Joel, or whatever, or AD and Bam. But I think that if you're gonna start Joel, you should start another big alongside him. I'd say we should go into the half court game then at that point. And I wouldn't be mad if it's Bam or AD. They play very similarly within that offense, Bam and AD. So I think they're almost interchangeable. I think AD right now probably has a leg up defensively, but it's small.
Yeah.
Like Bam is like that.
So I'm excited to wait for a few more games and see how everybody's playing to then go to the next question of who do you think is going to be the closing squad?
That'll be great.
You know what I mean?
That'll be great.
That's going to be really important when it comes to the knockout stages. Is who's going to be the last 5 minutes of the game to really shut it down and get the win.
And at the end of the day, it's probably a more meaningful, like you're saying, lineup. Like, you may take more pride in being a part of that closing lineup than even the starting lineup. And I think that the one thing that I do love about what you said is I think where we're really going to kick butt is once the bench comes. So I think it's just figuring out how do we balance who's where. But like you saw that with Canada, they're starting 5. We came out rusty. We came out rusty. But like they're starting 5 when they were out there to begin the game. It was like, okay, if they had 5 more of these guys, we'd be trying to go at Dwight Powell, and that's about it.
Yeah,
like these dudes are actually.
Isn't Zach Edey supposed to be on Canada?
Yeah. So they have. Well, I mean,
he's in
summer
league. Okay,
yeah, so he has all those other obligations.
I could have swore he was supposed to be out there.
Definitely. And I mean, they would have had Wiggins had we not pulled him off the table. So. They're definitely dealing. They could have a better looking team, no doubt. But you can see the starting 5s improving. That's all I'm trying to say. Where it's like, dang, like SGA was just out there. Like, I don't care if it's Drew Holiday. I don't care who you put out there. Like, I'm gonna waterworks that guy. You know what I mean? And I don't think the U.S. is quite used to that. And the same thing will happen with Luka.
Yeah.
Same thing will happen with
Luka's
Jokic.
Out of there.
Right. Yeah, he got the boot. That was so
Giannis
cool.
gave
Giannis gave him the ring. That's the first time Greece has made it, so let's be happy for them. Big clap, big ups. But again, like Mitch has been telling y'all, the starting lineups, it'll be interesting to see how it all works. But if we get the bench right, there's just no way we won't run away with it, So who do you think will win the MVP? Now that we know kind of our intentions of learning who will be the final lineup, I know this is kind of going to be hard without knowing much,
Right.
but just shot in the dark.
I think I'll give my top 3 who
That's
I
fair.
think will be the guys who will be the MVPs. I think Bron is really he's obviously going to do his thing and step up when he needs to because out of anybody, he's been the one person to be able to flip a switch and be like, I'm not playing anymore. Let's get this money.
Yep.
But I think he's trying to chill and have a good time because he has so much help around him.
Right.
And I think a guy like Jason Tatum
Mm-hmm.
could potentially be somebody who's like, hey, I'm going to come off this championship and continue to be one of the top guys.
Right.
I'm going to try really hard to be a key guy in this lineup.
Yep.
And I can come up clutch and maybe be the guy. Then I got AD just because he's so versatile.
Right.
He's probably a top 3 big man in the league just in general.
Yeah.
He'll get you a double-double every time, probably 2 or 3 blocks in the game. So I think he can guard 1 through 5 damn near. So I think he's somebody who could really just show out just off his pure talent. And then off the excitement factor, I would say Steph Curry. If he starts just raining threes, which he's very capable of doing, especially with this smaller court, with the shorter three-point line, I can see him going off and having some 8 3-pointer games, 9 3-pointer games. So those are my top 3 that I think could potentially be MVPs, be the stars of the tournament. What
Absolutely. I love those. I think personally, my heart would say Steph Curry.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if he'll care enough. Steph tends to I love him to death, but he tends to take a back seat in these kind of events where he just wants to be a team player. And I think that's why everybody wants to play with him. Is he never lets the moment become too big for him. He's not going to be like, because I can shoot from half, I'm going to shoot from half. Mm-hmm. And so I think players respect that, but I think the audience doesn't always. So I think for me, it would be LeBron, I agree with, just because I think he knows this is his last ride. I think LeBron is the one super cinematic star left in the league right now where, whether we want to be real about it or not, he's definitely, planning the last bit of his career very meticulously. I wouldn't be surprised if in his, autobiography it's already written that LeBron James wins the Olympic MVP and the gold, and I could totally see it. But my other 2 would be, I would say, Anthony Edwards, just because I think he could end up being kind of like the Carmelo of this team.
Okay.
Where
Big
it's
getter.
Where it's just a dude who's fearless, a dude who's kind of pissed all the time, a little bit I don't know why y'all don't think I'm better than these guys. Mm-hmm. And a dude whose game to me translates really well for the physical style of that Euroball, where he wants to go in there and bang bodies. He's come on, let's do it. I used to play football. Let's get it. So, and then lastly, I would say Kevin Durant, where I thought Kevin Durant was going to be the Carmelo of this generation in the sense of that team, where easiest bucket we've ever seen, a guy who is unguardable no matter who your starting 5 is, and a dude that when he's hot, it just seems like it wouldn't matter where the lines are.
Well, I think he has a bunch of records too for the Olympics too. I think he's the most scorer, the highest scorer of all time. And
Definitely.
Has a bunch of medals. I can't think of all the different accolades, but it's crazy because it's not even thought of his Olympic achievements.
Right.
People don't really think about him all that much, but he's been on the team for a minute now and always a bucket getter for sure.
Right.
So, man.
And I do want to pull that up because I want to make sure I'm not overlooking my boy. So he has 435 career points, which passed Carmelo Anthony, who had 336. And averaged 10 points over 31 Olympic games. So
that's nothing light with a bunch of Hall of Famers on your team,
right? And that's Carmelo. I think Kevin Durant averaged more
than that.
Kevin Durant has averaged 19.7.
Sounds about right.
So, but he's played in less.
I don't care who's on the court. I'm getting mine.
Right, and he's played in less. So, theoretically, because Carmelo played in 4, if he doesn't do well in this one, it could skew those numbers, largely. But to put that in perspective, I'm glad that you brought that up because Kevin Durant is averaging dub. The next highest that we got here is Michael Jordan at 16. Mm-hmm. Right. So, my bad, KD, for not fully giving you your flowers. You know what I mean? But, I guess you were the Carmelo of this generation for the Olympics. And so that's why you're in my list. You know what I mean?
Just bring that full circle. That's why you're on the list.
Exactly. So hopefully you can continue that and make me look good for putting you on that list. But yeah, those would be my pretty sure shots. And again, with these kind of competitions, I like to just go off of feel because they're all so good. Yeah. So to me, it's just like who's gonna be the dog because everybody's alpha. Yeah. So like at some point, you got to really put your foot down if you want that ball. And so like we'll see who's gonna really come out with that energy. Next, we got soccer. So as you guys know, football is in full swing. It's a hell of a summer going on. Again, I'll be continuing the shorts for you guys. I think we'll also end up having some baseball shorts coming sometime soon from Mitch as well. So just be prepared for like all the major sports to be getting shorts coming up. But I just want to go over a little bit of what happened to lead us to these two finals. Obviously, we're now at the final of the Euros and Copa America. It's been a long time coming. You know, you go to group stage, right? You battle it out in the group stage. You try to advance on points from there. Then you get seeded in the knockout round. You're going to go face whoever gets seeded from another group in the appropriate number for who you're going to face. You try to advance on from there all the way until the final through the knockout stages. And so we are here. In the short, I was able to give you guys a little update on Spain and England, who was the game not from yesterday, but the day before that. So that would be on Tuesday, I believe it was. And so that was phenomenal. I mean, both these teams are playing at a level that you would only see pretty much in FIFA when you're watching two real high-end players playing each other, where it just seems like passes don't even go wrong. You know, it's just like tick, tick, tick. But, you know, as I said in the short, 2-1, Spain gets it done. You know, Kylian Mbappe, a goose egg in this tournament, right? And I think that, you know, for a guy who's making the move of his career, these are the kind of things that people will look at it and wonder if it's going to have any ill effect, on him moving forward, just because at the end of the day, he hasn't always dealt with pressure that great. Kylian Mbappe has always stepped up to the plate, but if you notice, he plays the best when he has a set of stars around him who are also willing to brunt some of that pressure and some of that, you know, basically the restricting nature that comes with being a top tier talent. So, you know, when you look at somebody like that going out with a tournament like this, I know the broken nose didn't help, but he's got a lot of questions that need to be answered. And I know he's not building fans back home with these kind of performances. You're leaving Paris and then you leave him off with this where you don't even get a goal after you said you'd be the golden boot. It's crazy talk. Spain on the other side is just playing phenomenally. You know, as I said, they came back in, you know, France scored first with a wonderful assist, Kylian Mbappe to Kolo Muani, who it just looked like, you know, maybe France is going to actually play up to the competition like we're used to, where they're known to be one of those teams similar to Portugal, where like if they play a worse team, you don't know what you're going to get. But whenever they play the good teams, they're going to show up. They're not guaranteed to win, but they're not going to go out on some like, what kind of performance was that? So
that's what Portugal did this tournament. That was a bunch of what the hell was that?
Right.
Their whole tournament was just jeez.
Right. Yes. Absolutely. And I truly believe that. To me, a lot of that was coaching. I hate their coach. I hate Roberto Martinez is awful. He ruined Belgium, and now he seems to be doing the same thing with Portugal, where even Mitch and I have talked about this a lot. You can look at it on a roster on FIFA, and you can understand the dynamics better than what he's doing. It doesn't
even make sense.
You can't convince me over and over again that you thought that was going to work. You just can't do it. And as you guys are actually advancing, where I'm like, okay, competition is going to get better now, so now we make the necessary moves. No, we'll just ride it out. And shout out to Pepe, though. That's the last thing I'll say on Portugal. My man was 41 out there putting in work. And, yeah, man, like if the rest of y'all can't get it up when a dude like that is putting for real. But if y'all can't get your performance, up to par when you got your homie, the OG, coming out like that game after game, really putting in tackles that mattered. It was like, for me, it was, very sad to see as well. And also, I was like super alarmed by Cristiano Ronaldo crying in game. Like, I don't think I've ever seen him do that in his career. And I've watched him for so long now. And it was like, I don't know if he didn't realize how much time was left, because that's what I was thinking. I think he thought the game was literally about to after he missed that, which it was shortly gonna. But God, that breakdown, like even the players around him were spooked.
Yeah.
Where they were like, "What? What happened?" Like, so are you
not CR7?
Are you guaranteeing we're gonna lose? Like, because y'all were still tied. So it was like, wait, what? Anyway, back to the matter at hand. Spain came back from that early goal and got 2 quick ones in the 21st minute. Lamine Yamal, 16-year-old sensation from Barcelona. This kid is something else. He right now he had his 3rd assist of the tournament. He has the most assisted shots in the tournament. This is a guy who's playing a very vital position out on right wing, which, if you're getting it right with the trident up top, that guy is, a Dembele type. That guy is somebody who's going to end up probably being the center of your services for the majority of the game. He might be the vocal point of your attack when usually those kind of trident formations don't play out of their striker, right? They're going to play through their wings. So, this is a kid who should be doing homework, you know what I mean? And for him to have passed, the likes of Pele, Messi, like all these names, see you later, and by a large amount. Like, it's not like it was like a couple days. Like, this guy was 6 months ahead of a lot of these cats. And he could have scored earlier. This was on some like, now he's assisted everybody and finally he ends up getting his goal. He did miss
nasty,
a bunch. Nasty. And he did miss a bunch as well, and something he'll have to work on. But for a 16-year-old
shooter,
what composure. Way to live up to the moment. Shout out to you. I can't wait to see you continue to play at Barca. Honestly, right now with our financial problems, he is the true savior. And it's sad to see. I hope we don't run you into the ground like we've done with the rest of our youngsters because we don't have any money coming in to give you support. But we shouldn't be playing these guys as much as they are. So I hope that they're able to get this tournament, hopefully get the dub, and then really get some rest because we've seen this cycle happen before with Pedri, Gavi, and Ansu Fati. All of which have been young starlets who ended up injured and their careers have taken alterations. Now, Pedri and Gavi hasn't really ruined their career, but Ansu Fati is legitimately off the world map of soccer. 2 years after being our savior, so let's be careful. And then Danny Olmo, who's another former Barca academy player who now plays for RB Leipzig. He got another goal in the 25th minute. Absolute stunner.
That boy looking gross out.
He's gross. He is gross. Looks like a little bit like Frankenstein's, helper, you know what I'm saying, or something like that. But my man can shake you out of your boots, and he sure did on that play to make that finish. And I don't care what anybody says, that goal was going to go in regardless. So, Jules Koundé, that was going to be what your role in that no matter what. And then secondarily, the next game after that, we had Argentina playing Canada in Copa America, which, let's all be real, should be the U.S. Canada, I mean, by the way, Berhalter, Greg, the coach of the United States, gave him the axe this morning. Great feeling. Great feeling. Great feeling. I can't describe, a unit that's let more people down just in terms of, like, not playing for the badge, where it's just like, all these other places, they have more pride in what's going on with the fight. So, you watch, Canada with their best team they've ever had get easily outmatched by Argentina. And the reality is Canada should be applauded for getting that far, for real. And like you could have saved your job, Greg, if that was us getting 2-0 beat. So like, think about that. Like, even if we get beat 2-0, you still are our coach. So like, realize that's how far we came from a result that we like. And that's how little we even care about what happened to Canada. Like, I'm cool with what happened to Canada. That's fine. Like, let me be clear. I don't know if I think they scored 1 goal in the whole tournament. Canada. Right? We didn't get farther than them. So why would we be mad at Canada? They scored 1 goal and got by us. Yeah, so you got to look internally. That's an internal struggle. So, Canada left like they should, knowing that, hey, this was great to get this far. We'll dip out. 2-0, Messi gets a goal. First of the tournament, which, again, is pretty surprising, even though he's been handing out assists all over, left and right. Really has been a talisman for that team. And so that sends Argentina on to the final. So far we have Spain going to the Euro final, and we have Argentina locking it in for Copa America. Come the next day, we have another wonderful, wonderful matchup. You start off in the Euros again. We had England, the notorious chokers, versus Netherlands, who probably, if England didn't exist, would be looked at as the notorious chokers. Mm-hmm. So very interesting that you got basically a game of punk rock accessories, two chokers going after each other. And it ended up pretty much being a much better game than people thought. But also, it's funny watching both of these fan bases because neither really expects to win. Mm-hmm. They're like genuinely shook the whole time. They're like, I can't believe this is kind of going our way, but we know our luck, and so we're just waiting for it not. But it ended up being, you had Xavi Simons, who's another Barca Academy player, who right now is playing for, I believe, RB Leipzig as well.
They got some ballers over there.
Yeah, but he also, I think, is off loan at PSG. That's how those systems are crazy, kind of like minor leaguing out there. But he had a banger to start things off, an absolute just rocket to the upper left, and he was even slipping as he kicked it. One of those where, I'm surprised he didn't injure himself with just the sheer emotion coming out of him as he tried to get up from that terrible, he was in such an awkward position, but Otto hopped up, and I was like, yeah, he might have torn something. And then, you go ahead and get a penalty. What's new?
Yeah.
Right? England getting a penalty. Harry Kane tucking it away. It was a penalty kick you wouldn't stop. There's no...
Straight to the side net.
Boy, it was an absolute dandy. And so, then we're sitting there going, what's going to happen? Stalemate. Feels like we're probably going back to penalties. And both of these teams are garbage at penalties. So it was like... so it was like, if you look at it in the sense of how long could this last, I think a lot of people were going into that. We could see multiple racks of shots trying here. But in the end, they sub on Ollie Watkins.
Ollie.
Little known Ollie from Aston Villa. He comes on for Harry Kane, which made the whole stadium. I mean, I was like, dang, Southgate just wants to lose their coach. Because the reality is, if they had gone to penalties and Ollie Watkins had to take a penalty over Harry Kane, it wouldn't matter if they won or not.
Would have been curtains for you, bro.
It wouldn't have mattered if they won or not. They're letting you go, bro. They're going to let you go, bro. But by the grace of all the English soccer gods that exist, and Ollie Watkins, who swears by this, said him and crazy, right? I was like, bro, I know you're cat. He was like, me and Cole Palmer had a conversation on the sideline where we described the actual play that was going to happen.
Yapping.
So you're telling me, as an Englishman who knows how much y'all choke, you couldn't just take the victory and walk off and be cool with it?
So you knew you was coming off.
You had to come and tie in your prophecy to this. You waited till the 90th minute for your prophecy. You couldn't have prophesized earlier,
Cole Palmer agreed. He was looking at you like, all right, bro.
Yeah, Cole Palmer was going to take that. Cole Palmer was going to take that shout out. He was like, well, I don't get any love. Yes, we did do that. But anyway, regardless, all jokes aside, an amazing, amazing hit from him at an angle that he really shouldn't have been thinking about taking it. But a mistake from the Netherlands defender. You do not open your legs in that position. That's a real no-no. You're taught to slide your back leg to close in. He just kept stepping forward with that lead leg. And he did it 3 times in a row. And on that third time, Ollie Watkins took that shot, went right through his legs and into the corner pocket. And that's why they teach you not to do it, because the goalie's not going to be able to see it. And that's exactly what happened. And so good for Ollie. I think you're capped, but great for you to have that moment. And a great pass by Cole Palmer. I think Cole Palmer definitely deserves more PT. I think he's one of those guys that's been getting it going. And somehow Saka's just not really been there for me. So
you've been slacking.
There's that. And then last but not least, you had the game of all games. You had my boys, Colombia. Yeah, the unlikely dark horse. Yeah, man, Los Cafeteros. You know what I'm saying? We're here. We had a game versus Uruguay, which, if you look at Argentina, they weren't playing nobody, right? We were having to run through the real side of the bracket. Colombia goes in and plays Uruguay, which is 2 of the most notorious fan bases in terms of things get a little ugly. Yeah, things get a little ugly out there when you put us in the same sections. And so, we started off real nice. James was playing out of his mind. He gets his 6th assist of the tournament, which is, if you guys know, That's a lot.
That's some FIFA numbers right there,
That
baby.
is a lot, bro. Like, you know, Yamal for Spain had 3, and they're like, you know, big up in them. My boy James has 6. So he went ahead and put a beautiful dish out there. You know, we get ahead on the other end, as we usually do. We're really good at set pieces, right? So we go up and we get my boy who plays in the Premier League for Bournemouth, Lormad. He goes up and bottom corner, sneaks it in. We go up 1-0. And then in true Colombian fashion, never count us out for a moment of fuckery. Excuse my language. Munoz, who looks like Scar from Lion King, and plays like it as well. I will give him props. He has 2 goals in this tournament, which is the most by any defender by a long shot. I think there's only one other person who has 1. So he's been putting real shots on goal. But the whole tournament I've been watching him, he's been out of control. And you got to keep your head on straight, man. You're starting right back. You got to know these moments.
Easy, buddy.
Bruh, you got to know these moments. I know what's going on in the homeland. I know you feeling like a slime in your head. But look, we got to lock in, and you got to know better. You were walking up to the ref telling him he pinched you. He pinched me. You elbowed him in the chest.
He was just like, I want a little more.
You elbowed him in the chest. Like, you acted like this was a game in the 80s where there's no cameras there. So they were going to wonder, damn, how did the dude get on the ground? I wonder what happened here. We were watching that in slow motion for 20 minutes. Just going.
Slow motion, VAR.
Bro, just waiting on the red. We were all just waiting on the red. Waiting on the red. Just, all right, well, when is he going to hand it to you? And then you were like in shock on top of all that. So we get a red card right before half, just to make sure everybody who roots for Colombia is now on the edge of their seats and sweating their nuts off. Then we have to go the whole half playing against a very talented Uruguay side who has attackers for days. We had to do that a man down with a bunch of dudes getting yellow cards. And I'm gonna keep it honest. That was basically rugby. And a lot of this tournament, these refs have been way over their head in Copa America. I don't think a lot of them will be asked back. There were brawls. These things have gotten way out of hand. And, I'm glad nobody got hurt last night after the game. But I don't know if you guys saw it, but Darwin Nunez went into the stands, ended up fighting some Colombian fans.
Oh, boy.
Things got really out of hand. Basically, was the malice in the palace all over again. Nobody knows what's going to happen to Darwin Nunez. And 3 other players, including Araujo from Barcelona, all went into the stands. So at this point,
the brawl and El Barrio.
Yes. Oh, for real. And they were saying that was where their family was sitting, and some Colombian fans were, making it unsafe for their family or whatever. But like Darwin Nunez, there's clips on the internet. They're fighting. It's not like he's trying to get to them. He is like one-on-one fighting Colombians. And there's nothing but Uruguayan soccer players coming from behind looking for that smoke as well. So, I'm glad that we're in the finals. I would hope that versus Argentina, these 2 fan bases can keep things civil regardless of what happens. I'd like to just see some great soccer. But, boy, am I proud of my guys. This is only the 3rd time we've ever made it. So I would love for us to really bring it home. But we'll need some cool heads, you know what I mean, and some calm relations between these 2 nations. And I'm just glad I'll get to see Messi take on my guys. It's a win-win regardless.
Yes,
so
sir.
My prediction is I'm gonna take Spain beating England, and I'm gonna take that being that's gonna be really tough. I'm gonna say that's 3-1, and I'm gonna go Colombia beating Argentina, and there is no way this will be low scoring if it happens.
Pick from the heart.
Oh, dog. That's right. That's straight from the heart. And that's going to be, we're going to beat Argentina. It's going to be like 3-2 at a minimum. Like, there won't be a lot of defense played in this, at least from our end. So we're one of the better offensive teams in this tournament. So that's where it's going to come from. Either we're out ahead, getting loose, or we're in trouble. So that's my prediction. Yeah, I hope you guys put who you were rooting for in the comments. Put who you think will win the final. Do you think Spain? Do you think England? Do you think Colombia? Do you think Argentina? Fly those flags in the comments. I want to see what's going on. Appreciate y'all taking the time. That's the soccer for today, and I will have y'all fully updated as the finals progress on Sunday. Next, we have the NBA. For those who love and don't love anything related to basketball, we're shoving it right alley-oop in your face. We're going to start with the Warriors. I'm going to let Mitch kind of take this away. We have some new additions. So the Warriors' new roster additions, Healed, right? So that's Buddy, Kyle Anderson, right? We have DeAnthony Melton, and we have Quentin Post, who is the rookie from Boston College, 7-footer with a nice 3-pointer on him. So the questions we're going to run to Mitch to start with is one more trade needed, question mark. What do you think?
I like the pickups. If we get another big person like a Lauri Markkanen or something like that, if the Jazz are willing to trade him to us, I like these pickups. But as of right now, I just think these are some solid role players that we were able to get.
For sure.
They're guys who don't necessarily need a bunch of play time to make an effect on the game.
Yeah.
So hopefully they can be guys that we can start our young players like a Pajemski and a Moody and whoever, Jonathan Kuminga, whoever we decide to keep if we make a trade, have them play. And in the past, sometimes they've had lulls in the season where, you know, they're young guys, so it's hard to play a full 82 and show up every day.
Right.
We have these plug-in guys who can really
swap them out,
be a lot better than the guys we had in the past. They just really weren't stepping up. Like Chris Paul, especially. Like I think DeAnthony Melton will definitely do better, and just off energy alone. You know what I mean? So these guys bring good energy. Kyle Anderson teaming up with Kevon Looney, if we can decide to keep him, the person with the least amount of bounce matched up with the person who's the slowest person in the league. They're just in there complimenting each other, going to play good defense, going to be solid for us, going to make sure that when they get the ball, they pass it to somebody who can shoot, because that's definitely not their job. But I think that'll be good for our young guys. I think they could also learn from these veteran guys. And I think Buddy Hield, like I said, has the second most threes since he's been in the league to Steph Curry. So quality guys. I just want to see us make one more splash move to get somebody big. Like even if we don't get a Lauri Markkanen kind of superstar player, there's guys out there still on the waiver wire that we can pick up that we've used in the past. Like even like a JaVale McGee, he's still out there. It's like I don't even care if he's just 10 minutes a game. Like it's just nice to have that option to go out there. Because, I mean, I think it'll be ridiculous. Unless Post really shows out and shows he can be somebody, I think it'd be ridiculous the way we've not played our young guys before. To just throw him in there where it's like, wait, we couldn't throw I know Wiseman has injury troubles, but we couldn't throw him in there all the time, but we can throw this dude Post. Like, you know, I hope we get some more veteran guys for big men, because it seems like we have a well-rounded guard group already.
Yeah. I'm in full agreement. I think that where I love these moves is we just got younger and bigger, you know? And so if we're not going to fully go into we're a big lineup, at least make the rest of the positions not undersized. So at least don't have us be small at the 3, too, and small at the 2, and small at the, you know.
Corey Joseph out there for some reason. Like.
It's like we got the guard thing down. Like the small guards, we can do that. We can manufacture it. And I think that you mentioned it. I think that these ads will really complement the young guys. Like I think that was why these guys were added in. Is they're very efficient, very smart, high IQ players for the most part, except for Buddy. But we know what we're doing with Buddy. You know what I mean? But the rest of these guys, including Quentin Post, you know, they say that the reason that I wouldn't be surprised if he gets more burn, kind of in the way that Trace Jackson Davis did than Wiseman, for example, is because they said that we drafted him off his IQ, which, at least from what I've seen, it seems like that's the one thing that has just kept people from our lineup, which I don't always agree with. Like, I don't know if Steve Kerr should be the true judge of how much IQ everybody has, but I do think that it's clear that he has a lot more trust for people who he feels can grapple mentally with what he's trying to put out there. And I think Post will be able to. I also think it's huge that he shoots 40% from 3 to where I think they're going to even look at him like a stretch 4 almost at times if he's not going to be able to play the position defensively as 5.
Right.
At least to start, because he has the size too, but they say his footwork's a little
I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I don't want him to be a 20 and 10 guy. You know,
I'm not
gonna come out there and show out. All right,
I ain't expecting that.
I'd be surprised. Like we just, this.
I'm not expecting
for sure. This guy.
Yeah, no. I'm not expecting that.
23-year-old post guy from
he's got
schools that weren't even good schools.
Right. No, he's got a ways to go. I just think that he's the kind of guy that if we're gonna give somebody 7 to 10 minutes, he could make use of it. Whereas I feel like sometimes we didn't even want to give Wiseman the 7 to 10 because we were just like, you're gonna foul out, or you're just gonna
I would even like if we are to be able to get Lauri Markkanen and try and get like Walker Kessler in there with him.
So that's what they were saying, is that we would have to give up Kuminga in that trade, but they were saying that they were willing to give us Walker Kessler and Markkanen if we threw in Kuminga. And it's not like a big trade beyond that. It's like a bunch of picks, Kuminga and that. But I personally like the trade without Walker Kessler because Kuminga's off the table, and it's basically surrounding pods right now. So from what I've heard, everything is hinging on pods. And we're not sure if we want to let him go. We're not sure if we want to let him go, but apparently Utah is like infatuated with him replacing.
I mean, if you're infatuated with the guy,
100%.
I like him, but
right. 100%.
You're willing to give him $100 million.
And they want him to be their point guard, and they have Keontae George, who they've been trying to get to be a point guard, but really is more of a shooter. And so I think that they're looking at him like we've struck out on point guards a lot.
Yeah.
And so they want a guy who's smart, efficient, and they look at Pods as a dude who plays Utah ball.
Yeah.
There's a dude who's like
Gordon Hayward.
Exactly. So I wouldn't mind that. I think last thing that we'll go on before we hand you off baseball to close out would be, you've already said you like Markkanen. B.I., Zach Lavine, those two other options, you can just give a quick yay or nay on those. Let's say we strike out on Markkanen. How do you feel, B.I. or Zach Lavine, if those?
I mean, I'd rather go Zach Lavine just off what I've seen in the career. B.I., it seems like he's kind of hit a plateau where he's not going to be doing too much better than he is right now.
Yeah.
I don't even I hate to say something like I don't know about his drive, but
100%.
I don't know if Bruh's even really tripping off doing anything. He's got $100 million, so he's pretty okay with scoring about 17 and 3 rebounds and 4 assists or 2 assists.
And minimal defense.
Being a guy.
And minimal defense.
At least Zach has shown he can be a 20-point scorer consistently, just despite his injury troubles. That's really been the only thing holding him back. So out of those guys, I would say Zach Lavine. It was interesting to see DeMar DeRozan go to the Kings. I think that makes it so that we kind of got to step up. We got to make a move because that just makes even our conference, the Pacific Conference, just makes it even tougher. That's a team we just played in the play-in and lost, and they just added somebody 100%. Who's a lot better with Malik Monk and Keegan Murray and those guys, and then. On the flip side, you got Paul George with the 76ers now. Both guys that's we could have probably been in the sweepstakes for both those guys. Right. So losing out on them, I think we got to make some kind of splash, especially if we want to keep Steph happy and really, truly maximize having a chance of being a 4 or 5 seed.
Yeah.
As of right now, I think we're still around that play-in.
100%.
Status.
We are playing.
And that's purely because we have Steph Curry. That's the – everybody else is cool, but there's
Steph Curry and a good organization.
Yeah. So I'm hoping we make a splash. I'm hoping it's Lauri Markkanen. If not, getting the Zach Lavine for something for not too much. I'm hoping we can 100%. Underpay for any move that we make besides maybe Lauri.
Yeah. I'm with you 100%. I think that Lauri would be my option A. And then I think Zach Lavine, because we would get him at a discount and they would have to throw us a draft asset. They would give us a first rounder attached to Zach Lavine to take him on. I truly believe that people are starting to get too far down this Black Road narrative for Zach Lavine. I now, there was a point where I understood the talk and it's okay, it's not a great contract. I get all that. But I now think we're starting to get too far down this rabbit hole of what are we even talking about? This is a guy, if you actually look at his career numbers, averaging 25 a game. All of his numbers are efficient. And like you said, the only thing is derailing him at the end of the day is he hasn't won a lot.
Yeah.
And he's been injured. But I'm you bring him into where we're at, That's a pretty good.
We've
been talking about
Wiggins
it for years.
upgrade. It's Andrew Wiggins upgrade.
And we've been talking about him for years, where it's like Zach Lavine,
he kind of could be like how like we always wanted Iguodala, and we didn't get him until later on, and then this could be like, hey, we got Zach Lavine maybe 3 or 4 years after we could think of making that move.
Yeah, I almost see him as like a just a different version of Clay, where it's like same kind of volume with the shots, just more athletic, but a little less top end sniping ability. Plug him in, bring the light skinned brother right next to the light skinned brothers. Last question of the Warriors before we hand it off to Mitch to finish us up with MLB and baseball today. Where do the Warriors stand? We kind of touched on this a little bit, so we'll keep it quite quick. But where do the Warriors stand in the West as of today? No more ads. Everything over. Where do you think we finish?
Like I said, I think best case scenario with this current squad roster that we have right now, I think like 9th seed.
For real.
I think we can maybe squeak in and not have to play a playing game. But with the Mavs, we get the Timberwolves, we got the Kings, we got the Lakers, we got the Pelicans, we got the Nuggets, Thunder. So that's already 7 teams off the top of the tip.
Right.
So,
and we're not even talking about like Grizzlies, all these teams who were butt last year, where it's like
because the Grizzlies have Ja Morant coming back, so he's gonna have full season ahead of him.
Yeah, and they
got Zach Edey, so
they filled out their 5.
Out of all the moves that we've been seeing, whether it be draft or free agency, it's really looking like we've kind of been pretty lackluster, and we'll probably be like on the C- D scale of grades when it comes to the regular season if we don't make another move, because every other team seems to have done at least something to make them improve. Like we've got some veterans to maintain, but I don't know if it really tipped the scale too much in terms of wins and losses.
Yeah. Unless our internals can have some huge jump, and I mean that by like Kuminga, all our youngsters, unless they take that huge jump, which they can, it'll be very hard for us to compete in a league, like he said, where we're still counting certain teams out.
Yeah,
like we're not even taking into account the true West, and like
we didn't even say the Suns, and they're not even that great, but they still got a big 3.
Exactly, or the Lakers. I mean, there's all these, even the Clippers. Like all these teams haven't improved to me, which is why people aren't necessarily jumping down the Warriors' throats.
Yeah,
like the Lakers look even worse, the Clippers look even worse. But to think that they're not going to be competitive, like we're still having James Harden and Kawhi and LeBron
Russell.
And AD, and it's like, oh yeah, those guys are not going to show up next year or something. Like no, they're going to be there. So I think we are a fringe play-in team as it stands. I think that we have to play really hard to not be in the play-in, and I think we'd be happy to be in the play-in.
Yeah,
so I think both can be said, and I think that's where it's at. So that's our update on the Warriors. Please, again, in the comments, go ahead, utilize that. If you got a difference in opinion, you think that we'd finish higher, shame on us. Put it down there. Let us know. If you think we're going to finish in the cellars and we're about to be back to the lottery or higher, hey, man, drop a comment. Let us know. We'll start the chat. We'll keep it going.
Tank for Coop.
Hey, there's been talk, right? So we're open. We're realists. Whatever it is, we love when you guys are taking part into the conversation. So, again, please drop your opinion there. We will be watching.
That'd be crazy if the Spurs ended up getting Cooper Flag and Wemby back-to-back.
Oh, they're trying.
Crazy. Crazy.
They're trying. So to close today, we got my boy with the MLB and baseball. Always, we got a lot of good stuff going on. I hope you guys are checking in. I know it's this portion in the season where things are kind of in the middle. You're getting close to the All-Star break, but still a lot of good baseball going on, a lot of ballers. So we got my mans, as usual, to make sure you guys are up on everything. So go ahead and take that away.
Yeah, man. So a lot of excitement coming up starting tomorrow. We got All-Star Weekend coming. It's going to be from the 12th through the 16th. There's going to be a little excitement every day. Starting tomorrow, close to my heart, we got the HBCU Swingman Classic. It's a new thing where they got the colleges, the HBCUs, historically black colleges, going to be out there showcasing their skills. So my alma mater where I play baseball, Prairie View is going to be there, going to have some players. Southern's going to be out there, Texas Southern, Grambling, all the schools, Alabama State, Alabama A&M is going to have good guys from everywhere. It's going to be exciting to see. Go check that out if you're into it. Next, we got Saturday. Saturday is going to be the Futures game. There's a lot of good players in the Futures game. Just to name a few, just to rattle off some of the teams. We got Harry Ford and Kyle Teal, top catchers.
Uh-huh.
Kyle Teal out of Virginia, been sticking out there, double-A player. He's going to be solid out there. He's going to be exciting to see. We got Colson Montgomery, Marcelo Meyer for the Boston Red Sox. Big guy. He's going to be solid. Brooks Lee, he's already made it up to the top league and for the Minnesota Twins. So he's still going to be able to play there, but he's also a baller, top prospect. And then Xavier Isaac, another big infielder. He's been clutch all season, so it's going to be exciting to see him. Then we got some exciting names like Spencer Jones, big 6'7" boy for the New York Yankees. He could be coming up soon. And then Max Clark, he was like the third pick in the draft for the Detroit Tigers out of high school. He's been a big name. He's been one of those TikTok guys, Instagram guys. You see him all over. Very into the social media as well as being a baller out there. And then some good pitchers. You got Chase Dolander, Tink Hintz for the St. Louis Cardinals. He could even be up this season potentially. He's raw. Rhett Lauder and Noble Meyer for the Miami Marlins. Another guy you could potentially see joining the roster towards the end of the season. Ethan Salas, a catcher for the Padres, 17 years old. Been signed to them for like a few years now. He's somebody who could potentially be up in the league at 18, 19 years old. So he's going to be exciting to watch. As well as Tamar Johnson, another guy for the Pirates who also have number one prospect and number one guy out there, Paul Skeens. But Tamar is a second baseman, infielder. He rakes just about 5'8". He's not a huge guy, but, man, he can hit.
Altuve.
And then Dylan Cruz, the number one pick last season from LSU, Paul Skeens' guy. Or he was the number 2 pick, I believe.
Teammate.
Teammate to Paul Skeens. He's going to be a big star, along with a guy named James Wood, who just got called up for the Nationals. They can be a dynamic duo for them. And then last but not least, want to give a shout-out Drew Jones, Andrew Jones' son. He's going to be in the Futures game as well. So you got a lot of exciting names. That's a game you should definitely watch. It's the Futures game going to be on Saturday. Check that out for the next couple of stars. And then on Sunday is going to be another exciting day because you got the MLB draft. Woo! Something that they started to incorporate over the last few years is to add some excitement, not just have a draft on a random day, but to have it a part of the All-Star Weekend, have these guys come out on stage. You can see them. You can get introduced to all the fans who are coming out, and you can see what team is potentially going to be getting your new player. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be exciting. We got a lot of good guys coming through. Charlie Condon led the league, and
I think he might be the first overall.
Might be the first overall pitch. Travis Bazzana from Oregon State, another top prospect out there. Chase Burns, pitcher from Wake Forest, throwing 100 miles an hour. They're all going to be out there, so you're going to see them. You're going to see some of the new names who are going to be stars to come in the league. And then Monday, it's time for that home run derby, baby.
The one we all know and wait on.
So we got a lot of good guys. We got Gunnar Henderson is going to be participating. He's got 27 home runs this season. He's been killing it for the Orioles.
MVP candidate.
Definitely. We got Alec Bohm, who's been killing it this season.
Big guy.
Came out this season and started balling.
Yep.
Only 11 home runs, but he's somebody who's batting over 300. He could really stick. Yep. He's going to be exciting to watch. We got another superstar, young guy, Bobby Witt Jr. He's got 15 bombs, but he's been playing like a maniac
out of his mind.
all
MVP
season.
Candidate.
Top player in the league. It's going to be exciting to see him out there. Jose Ramirez, everybody's favorite third baseman.
Man.
Always out there sticking, 23 home runs.
Mr. Consistent.
He's coming back. He's going to be out there trying to get that dub. And then somebody who kind of got gypped from being an all-star starter, Marcell Ozuna. He's got 23 home runs this season. He's going to be participating. He said he wants some TV time since they got him benched. So it's going to be exciting to see him. And then last but not least, we got two-time winner Pete Alonso. He's got 18 home runs this season, but he's somebody, when he gets into a home run derby, could hit 15 in a row. Honestly. Insane. So it's going to be exciting. A lot of fun. A lot of big 400-foot bombs about to be coming. Unfortunately, there is going to be no returning champ, no Vladdy Guerrero. So you're guaranteed to see somebody win who was different than last year. And that's going to be exciting for that too. And then last but not least, we got Tuesday, the All-Star game. Tuesday the 16th. We got all the big stars out there. We know them all. And the big question is, after tonight having pitched into the 7th inning with a no-hitter and 11 Ks, will Paul Skeens, the absolute superstar, be the one to start the game to get all the eyes on the All-Star game? I think they should do it.
They should.
We got guys all over. They're
Come
saying,
on.
hey, let this guy throw. He's throwing 100 miles an hour, throwing an 85-mile-an-hour slider that looks just like the fastball coming out of the hand. Let's bring some excitement to the game. It's awesome to see a number one pick, especially just coming from last year, seeing a young guy be out there.
Very rare.
Very rare. So let's keep it exciting. Let's keep getting these young guys out here. There's going to be guys like C.J. Abrams out there, Ellie De La Cruz, Bobby Witt's going to be out there. A lot of young, talented players. It's going to be exciting to watch, So I think everybody tune in Tuesday the 16th for this All-Star game. See all the best players that are out there. Get interested into it because it's going to be a fun time. Home runs all day, good pitching, good playing, good defense, and lots of good food. So that's the MLB roundup for today. Hope you guys can tune in and watch Friday through Tuesday.
Absolutely. And please, again, drop who you think is going to win that home run challenge. We want to know. We want to hear your opinions. Mitch is the professional, but you guys can have your opinion as well. Any surprises before we end this in terms of All-Star game starters? Was there anybody you looked at from American International League, one player from each team that you're like, wow, he made it. That's tight.
I think I'll just to give a few shout outs, just because these are the players that I think that also just deserve it because they're also from our home teams. Give a shout out to Mason Miller, great reliever, probably one of the top relievers in the league, potentially going to be a trade target for a lot of contending teams, but a guy who averages throwing 101 miles an hour. So he's a beast. Shout outs to him to be our solo guy out there.
Absolutely.
And then for the Giants, Logan Webb, great pitcher, starting pitcher, number one ace out there. And then a great surprise in Helio Ramos, man. He really has been showing out. Been an exciting player to watch, offense and defense. So shouts out to all three of them. They're the people I really want to highlight who it's like, hey, we might not have known they was going to be out there. But
at all.
They're going to be top guys for both of our teams, so we're excited to see them out there, man.
Absolutely. So make sure you guys tune in like we said, and we will have another wonderful show for you guys coming next week. Until then, watch our content, check our shorts, like and subscribe, and we will see you guys soon.
Peace.